G'day, Jonathan Brake here from The Forge Leader with Monday Myth Check. And today we're going to talk about this idea that just because someone's a good worker, they should be promoted into leadership. I've seen this play out a lot in business. It's not always the case that just because they're the best worker or the best technician or the best engineer or the best salesperson, that they should take on a leadership role, because leadership requires a whole bunch of other skills. Now, first of all, when we're hiring, one of the models that I use is a thing called attitude, aptitude, and skill. Attitude and aptitude, these are the things that are ingrained in us, the things that we're good at, the strengths and weaknesses we have, the behaviors we live out. I've talked about that in other videos. And then the skill is obviously the skill. There's no doubt that a leader needs to be capable in terms of the team they're leading, what they're leading, the business, all that sort of thing. So they need to know something about the business and be good at it, but they don't have to be the best worker. So let's look at a few things in terms of what could be a bit of a trap. Let's look at three things, in fact. What could be a trap in terms of promoting someone because they're a good worker? The first one is that leadership requires a different set of skills. There's a difference between managing a team and leading a team and understanding that process. Just thinking about the process of going from I'm good at what I do well to now I'm leading people and the people skills that are required. It doesn't mean they can't learn it. It just doesn't mean that they've naturally got it. The other thing you might lose, potentially, is a top performer. If you've got someone who performs really well and you remove them from that performance and into leadership, now they might want that role and that's fine. But if you do that just because they're the best performer, then you've now lost your best performer. You got to hire, you got to backfill, you got to grow others into that role. You got to make sure there's people in the background that can help out with that space. So that's just another thing that can really be a concern in terms of understanding why we would just put someone who's great at what they do into a leadership position. But the third one is maybe they don't want it. Now, I've come across plenty of people, they certainly want accolade, they certainly want rewards and results and all those sorts of things. But I've seen plenty of salespeople like, I just want to sell. I sell really well. I can make a lot of money. I can feel really fulfilled. I like the interaction with clients. If you put me in leadership, you take me away from that. Just something to think about in terms of just because someone's good at what they do means that you promote them into leadership. So what can we do about this? I've already mentioned this idea of attitude, aptitude, and skill. What I recommend is if you're thinking of promoting someone, look at their attitude, look at their aptitude, and look at their skill set and say, does that meet our leadership standards? Does that meet that next level standard? Now, certainly if you're looking at promoting them, you'd argue, okay, the skill set is definitely there. But what about the aptitude? What about their ability to lead, their ability to connect with people, their ability to inspire? Leaders need to inspire. Leaders need to model behavior. Leaders need to be really on point in terms of your culture and be able to help you lead that culture. And more so as they move further away from leading a frontline team and becoming a leader of leaders. Understanding those things just because they're the top performer. The attitude, aptitude, skill is a great framework to have a look at. You can look at that right across your business. You can also do things like leadership readiness, whether the team wants them to be a leader, whether they want to be the leader, whether or not they're ready to be a leader. What are some frameworks you can put in place? You could interview the team that they're going to lead. What do they think of this person if they're already incumbent? You could ask the person and do an interview with them, and maybe as part of their review, like, what are the leadership aspirations you have in our business? So a couple of things you can think about. I always come back to the framework of attitude, aptitude, and skill. You can use that as a framework in terms of assessing whether someone's fit for leadership, and even say, these are the attitudes and the aptitudes that we expect from an entry leader, a middle leader, a senior leader, and then maybe even all the way up to C-suite. We can actually identify what each of those are. But understand what you're promoting here. You're not just promoting someone who does a great job. You need to promote someone who's going to enhance the leadership of your business, build on the culture. Yes, be capable, but they don't have to be the most capable. Just because someone's great at the job they do does not mean that you need to promote them or they even want to be promoted. I'm Jono Brake. This has been Monday Myth Check. As always, enjoy the journey.